The early 1800s in the United States marked a period of immense growth and the fierce assertion of a young nation's identity. This era, from the 1800s to the 1810s, dramatically expanded U.S. territory and solidified its place among global powers, beginning with an acquisition that reshaped the map forever. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson seized an unparalleled opportunity. Napoleon Bonaparte, embroiled in European conflicts, offered the vast Louisiana territory for sale. For a mere $15 million, Jefferson purchased this immense land west of the Mississippi River, an astonishing transaction that instantly doubled the size of the United States. This single act of diplomacy, rather than conflict, thus set the stage for generations of westward expansion and redefined the American nation. Yet, this newfound ambition inevitably led to conflict. The War of 1812, fought from 1812 to 1815, served as America's second war of independence. Tensions escalated as Great Britain, locked in its own struggles, blockaded American trade, and less more egregiously, forcibly conscripted American sailors into the Royal Navy, a practice known as impressment. This direct assault on American sovereignty ignited a fierce resolve within the young nation. Although the war saw devastating moments, including the capture of Washington, D.C., and the burning of the White House, the conflict ultimately ended in a draw. However, its true significance wasn't in territorial gains, but in its powerful message. The United States had definitively demonstrated to the world that it was fully independent from Britain, capable of defending its interests and its people. A profound cultural outcome was the birth of the U.S. national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner, born from Francis Scott Key's observation of the American flag still flying over Fort McHenry. As the nation grew into the 1820s and 1830s, a new and fatal question emerged. Should slavery be allowed in the newly acquired territories? This fueled a bitter and increasingly irreconcilable divide between the agrarian, pro-slavery South and the industrializing, anti-slavery North. The Missouri Compromise of 1820 was an attempt to quell these rising tensions. When Missouri sought admission as a slave state, northern states vehemently objected. Fearing an imbalance of power, a delicate compromise was struck. Missouri entered as a slave state, but Maine was simultaneously admitted as a free state, preserving the balance. Crucially, slavery was banned in any new territories north of the 3630 parallel. While offering a temporary reprieve, this solution merely postponed the inevitable conflict. In 1823, President James Monroe delivered a declaration that would become a cornerstone of American foreign policy, the Monroe Doctrine. He asserted that European powers should not interfere in American affairs, and in return, the United States would refrain from involvement in European affairs. This bold statement established a principle of American isolationism, projecting the young nation's growing confidence and its desire to assert regional dominance. The era of Jacksonian democracy arrived with the presidency of Andrew Jackson from 1829 to 1837. This period expanded voting rights to most white men, broadening the base of American democracy and giving voice to the common man. Yet, this era also holds a tragic and indelible stain on American history: the forced relocation of Native Americans to make way for the burgeoning cotton expansion. In the South, Native American tribes were cruelly uprooted from their ancestral lands and marched westward in a devastating ordeal known as the Trail of Tears in 1838. This act of displacement, driven by avarice, stands as a stark reminder of the darker consequences of national expansion. The 1840s were overwhelmingly defined by Manifest Destiny. This was not merely a political slogan, but a deeply ingrained belief rooted in a pervasive sense of white supremacy. It posited that it was the divinely ordained right of Americans to overspread and possess the entire North American continent, from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This belief fueled relentless westward expansion and justified aggressive territorial ambitions. In 1845, the United States acted on this belief by annexing the Republic of Texas. Texas had previously won its independence from Mexico and was admitted into the Union as a slave state, further exacerbating the sectional conflict. This annexation, combined with unresolved border disputes, all led directly to the Mexican-American War, fought from 1846 to 1848. The war, triggered by a dispute over the Texas border, resulted in a decisive victory. Under the terms of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo, Mexico was forced to cede a massive amount of land to the United States. This enormous acquisition included what is now California and Nevada, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, forever changing the geographical face of the nation. What's easily overlooked is the sheer audacity of this expansionist drive, which fundamentally redefined America's boundaries and identity. Just as this vast new territory was being integrated, an event occurred in 1849 that would accelerate settlement: the California Gold Rush. The discovery of gold in Sutter's Mill drew hundreds of thousands of fortune seekers westward, igniting a fervent migration that exponentially increased the population and development of California and the surrounding regions. This cascade of events, from the peaceful acquisition of Louisiana to the hard-fought War of 1812, the uneasy compromises over slavery, the assertive Monroe Doctrine, the tragic Trail of Tears, and the sweeping ambition of Manifest Destiny, culminating in the Mexican-American War and the Gold Rush, collectively forged the modern United States, a nation grappling with its vastness, its ideals, and its deeply ingrained contradictions.